Hi everyone, welcome to Unacademy, India's largest learning platform. You can take the Plus subscription and access the unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educator. So you can take the Plus subscription and access the unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educator. You can take the subscription and access the unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educator. Now, this is about me. I'm a computer science GATE faculty having more than 5 plus of teaching experience, mentored more than 15,000 students, taught in different reputed institute all over India. So, I've given coaching in many different coaching institute. Okay. And I've even went in different part of India to give coaching, like in Assam, Bhubaneswar, Jammu, Chennai, Bangalore, Pune. Okay, so everywhere. Even I've given coaching in many government colleges as well as in many private colleges, like SRM Chennai. I went, JAC Jorhat. I went, Guwahati University. I went, Jammu College of Engineering. I went, CET, Bhubaneswar. I went. So these are the colleges where I went and I've given the coaching. Okay, to get CSE aspirant. Now you can download the Unacademy learning app because there also I am giving free live classes. There also I am giving free live classes, and when you download that, in the description my profile is there. You can go there and there you will get one follow button. You can click on follow so that whatever new lecture you will get, whatever classes that I am going to start, you will get a notification of that. Okay, so if you will follow me, you will get all the notification of all my free live classes. Okay. Now, iconic subscriptions. We are having a two type of subscription. One is iconic subscription, another is plus subscription. In iconic subscription, you are going to get personal coach, main question answer practice, study tracker, and all the benefits of the plus. Now, in personal coach, what are you going to get? You are going to get one-on-one guidance from top exam expert as your personal coach. You are going to get one-on-one guidance. You are going to get a guidance from top exam expert as your personal coach, and he or she is going to align your preparation strategy, how you should prepare. Okay, and learning resources, so from where we you should study which topic and all. Any difficulties if you are facing, you can ask to your personal coach. Even if you are in college, if you are facing any difficulties, if your placement is happening, along with that you are doing gate preparation, so how you should do preparation, in all these cases the personal coach is going to guide you. Now you are going to get a study tracker. What is the study tracker is going to do? So you can participate in a study tracker plan and study booster workshop. Study booster workshop, it is going to boost your marks. Okay, means it is going to boost your preparation. So it is going to evaluate your progress in bi-weekly review with personal coach. So the personal coach is going to uh, do the review bi-weekly. Okay, so that is going to evaluate your progress, how you are progressing. Okay, so now main question answer practice you are going to get, that is going to strengthen your main answer writing through regular practice. So you are going to get a main question answer writing through regular practice. You are going to strengthen your main question answer writing through regular practice with evaluation and personalized feedback. You are going to get evaluation and personalized feedback, and even all the benefits of the plus. Now, what are the benefits in the plus? In plus, you are going to get daily life classes, live test and quizzes, structured courses, and unlimited access. So, in daily life classes, what you are going to get? You can chat with your educator. So, you can chat with your educator, engage in discussion, ask your doubt, and answer pools all while the class is going. So, all while the class is going on, you can chat with your educator, engage in discussion. Okay, and even after every three session, you are going to get one doubt clearing session. You are going to get one doubt clearing session. Okay, you're going to get one doubt clearing session. Now you're going to get a structure course. Your course will be structured. So all our courses are structured in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare for it. So all our courses are structured in line with your exam syllabus. So it is going to be means like for gate, like if you are studying here algo, so it is in a structure way. So first we are covering the topic, then previous year gate question, and the topic that is related to gate I am teaching. Not haphazardly I am taking from here, from anywhere I'm not taking the topic. So means in a proper manner we are teaching. So that way you are going to get the courses in structure courses. Okay, that means okay. So live test and quizzes you are going to get. You can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock test. You can give regular mock test and quizzes and get detailed analysis on your performance. And you can get the detailed analysis on your performance. And unlimited access is also there. One subscription get you access to all our live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your device. So one subscription is going to fetch you to access all the live and recorded courses, all the live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your device. Okay, so you can watch the live and recorded courses from any of your device. Okay, so in a brief, in plus you are going to get these four benefits. In Iconic, along with these four benefits, you are going to get this. Okay, now you can learn with our top educator that we are going to get in the plus subscription. Now, if you take Get an ESA subscription, then not only you will have the access of CS and IT, and not only CS and IT, you are going to have access of all the courses that is available, like mathematics, instrumental engineering, production, civil engineering, electrical engineering. So one subscription is going to fetch you all the courses that is available on Gate and ESE. So if you have chosen two paper here, then it is going to be beneficial here. Okay. Now for Iconic subscription, the price after applying the code, that is SPSYT. See, SPSYT is my code. Why? Because my name is Suraj Prasad Shaw and YT for YouTube. So after applying the code for 1 year, you are going to get, you have to pay just 45,225. Okay, for Iconic subscription. And for 2 year, you have to just pay 66,600 after applying the code SPSYT. So if you will apply the code, you will get 10% instant discount. Okay. Now for the plus subscription for 1 month you have to pay 4,950. See, all the price are after 10% discount, and here for 3 months 12,375, and for 6 months 22,275. Now for 1 year you have to pay 27,225. For 1.5 year 34,650, and for 2 year you have to pay 39,600. Okay. So you can use my code, that is SPSYT, in any of the subscription that is available on Unacademy. Any subscription that is available on Unacademy. Okay. Now in this lecture we are going to see heap. So we are going to see heap. We are going to learn introduction to heap. Okay. We are going to see heap. Now why we are going to learn this heap data structure? Okay. Because now I will take an example like data structure. I'm here taking data structure. So let's take unsorted data structure. Here unsorted. Okay, unsorted. Here is your unsorted array. You are doing here insert, search, find, mean, and the next operation is your delete mean. Okay, delete mean. That you are going to do here. You are going to do here delete mean. So for unsorted array insertion, you want to do insertion, how much time it is going to take? Since it is a unsorted, you can insert in anywhere. Unsorted array, okay, means it is like no sort order is mentioned, like here 5, 1, 2, 3. So you can insert after, like after this, if n is your 4, then after that you can insert in fifth position. So you can insert anywhere. So it's unsorted. You can insert after the array, after at the last position. So insertion is going to take big of one. Now, if you want to search the any element, now in this, if you want to search any element, it is unsorted. You have to linearly search. Linearly, here you search, then here, then here, then here, then here. So linear wise, linear you have to search. Then you have to trace or visit the every node. So here total node is n. So you are going to take the time complexity as big of n. Okay. Similarly, if you want to find mean, you have to traverse all the elements of the array. So again, it's going to take big of n. After finding, if you want to delete, after finding, if you find some element, then what you have to do? The finding is going to take big of n. After deletion, like you have find this element, you have find this is the mean. Let us assume your array is like 1, 2, 5, 11, 10, then 3, like this. You find the mean is here. So you have deleted one. You delete one. Now after deleting one, you have to move this element to here, one position, one position. Okay, so here 2 you will get, then 5, then 13. So the to finding the mean, it will take big O of n, and even to move the element, then again it is going to take move O is big O of n, because in worst case you have to move n minus 1, n minus 1. Okay, in worst case you have to move big O of n minus 1, and which is going to your big O of n minus 1. So in asymptotic wise, it is going to your big O of n. Okay, so for searching, it is going to take big O of n. When you want to search any minimum element, to search if minimum element is in the beginning, then you have to move all the remaining n minus element one step ahead, one left move you have to do. Okay, so for deletion, it is going to take big O of n, and for searching, it is again going to take big O of n. So this is for deletion. Okay, for searching mean, no need to write. I have shown you. Okay, so this is the case in unsorted. You are going to get big O of n. Okay, this is the case in unsorted. Now, if I'll give you in sorted array, and this sorted array is in non-decreasing order. Non-decreasing order. It is in non-decreasing order. Okay. So in non-decreasing order means it will be in the numbers should be either in increasing order or it will have the same value. Now see in sorted array. So in sorted array, now to insert a element, you have to find its position. You have to find its position where where you want to insert, because it should be in order. It should be in sorted. After insertion, it should be also in sorted array. It should be also in sorted array. Like if you are having some array 1, 2, 5, 4, 5. So you have to find the position where you want to insert. Where you want to insert. So if you want to insert 3, so you got that 3 should be here. 3 should be here. Okay, 3 should be here. So you have to do like binary search. You have to find after means you have to do something, so that you need to find the position. So you find the position, then after finding the position, you have to shift. You need to create one position. You need to create one space for that. One space for that. So you got that after 2, the 3 is going to be there. The 3 is going to be. So you, what you're doing, you are doing one move like 3, then 5. One move you are doing. One move you are doing. Now here it was 4. Here it was 4. So you are creating a space. Okay, you are creating a space. Here you got like this. Now take another example. If you are having some element like this, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, like this it is there. Now you want to insert. Now if you want to insert one. Now if you want to insert one, then you need to move all these element to one step right, so that you get one cell in the beginning, and here you can insert one. So what can happen to find the position? It will take some time. Let us assume it's taking log n, but in worst case you have to move all the n minus 1 element, so it is going to take big O of n. So in unsorted array, the time complexity to insert an element, it is good. Sorry, in sorted array, it should be in big O of n, because for finding the position it can take log n, then plus n. So you can modify the binary search in such a way that you find the position. Okay, you have to modify it, not directly you can implement. So overall it is going to take big O of n. Overall it is going to take big O of n. So to insert an element in a sorted array, it is going to take big O of n. Okay. Now for search. Now for search, 1 minute. Now since it is a sorted array, now if you want to search, you can apply binary search. It will take your login. So search is going to take login. Now if you want to find me, it is a non-increasing order. So in the first position is going to be the minimum element only, because it is a non-increasing order. So first element is the mean, big of 1. Now here it's delete mean. So after finding mean, you have to delete the in means move the, see what I mean here. After finding the mean, you have to move So after finding the mean value, you have to move the remaining, like you have deleted this one. Okay, let us assume this. You have deleted this, then this place will become vacant. So you have to move all the n minus 1 one step ahead. So for movement, it will take big O of n. Okay. So for shifting, why we are requiring this? For shifting the the last n minus 1 element, for shifting the last n minus 1 element. Okay, understood. So for data structure, if it is an unsorted array, then you can insert anywhere, it is not going to affect because it is unsorted. We go of one. For search, since it is unsorted, you have to search linearly. Okay, to search any element, it's going to take big of log n. Now to find mean, you have to again search linearly because it's unsorted, big of n. Now after finding the mean, you have to delete. So for finding, it is going to be big of n. Now you want to delete. Now, if you are deleting, then you have to do movement. Okay, for movement also, after deleting, you will get one space vacant. So you have need to move the remaining element. So in worst case, you have to move n minus one element. So it is going to take big of n. Now for sorted array, insertion is going to take big O of n, because first you have to find the position where you want to insert. Here you can't insert in anywhere because it is sorted array. You need to maintain the property of this array, that it should be in sorted. So you have to find the position. So you can modify the binary search and it will going to take big O of log n. Then after the search, you need to move the sum. In worst case, you have to move all the element and you have to create one space, like you all the remaining, that like this. Initially you have to move all the element like this. You have to create one space for that. So insertion is going to take big O of n. Now search, since it is sorted array, you can apply linear binary search. Sorted, you can apply, so log n. Now find mean, since it is sorted in a non-decreasing order, so minimum will be find in constant time because first element is going to the minimum. Now after minimum, if I'll ask you to delete mean, so again you have to shift the last n minus 1 element. So it is overall, it is going to be big O of n, because after deleting the mean, the first element, you have to move the remaining n minus 1 element ahead, one cell ahead. Okay. Now this we have seen for unsorted and sorted. Now we will see for now we will see for unsorted linked list. Unsorted linked list. For linked list, we are going to see unsorted linked list. Now for insertion, how much time it is going to take? Since it is a linked list, you can insert in anywhere. It's going to take constant time. Linked list, in linked list you find this node if you want to insert. So it will have the address of this, like you temp as a temp. Then if you want to insert anywhere, let us assume after this pointer p, if you want to insert, then what you can do, p next, see temp next you will do, temp next, this is the next, temp next you will do, temp next is going to do, see it is a linked list. So since when they are saying linked list, so you assume as a single linked list. Okay, you assume as a single linked list. So in case of single linked list, how it will look like, it will have the data part and the next pointer and the next pointer. Okay, it's a single linked list, data part, next pointer. So this temp you want to insert. Now if you want to insert in some after this pointer p, okay, so its address is having in p, it is having the data and it is having the next pointer, it is having the next pointer. So what you can do now, this you want to insert after, it was like this, it was like this, like this, it is having, okay, now you want to insert this after this p temp node, you want to insert after this. What you can do, you can point p next, this is the p, then point p next. See how you can do, this is p, you can make p next is equal to 10. Okay, not, we should not make p next first 10, there is a problem. Okay, see what will happen if I make p next equal to 10. if because after this temp next should point to this. Now p next will point to temp, it will directly point to temp, it will directly point to temp, this. So it will get removed, this will get, if we'll directly do this, then this will get disconnected. Now how this temp will point to next, this, how it can point, you will not able to, because this next is now temp. Okay, so what we should do first, we should make, first we should make, and this, in this way they have asked in your gate also, this is this type of question, it is even in your gate previous year question. Okay, so temp next first should be your p next. Okay, p next, so that p next is this, it is going to your temp next. So p next is your this is going to your next. Now p next is going to your temp. Now p next, that p next is going to your temp, is going to your temp. See, you have inserted, going to it. Okay, p next is now your temp. Okay, now temp next, that we have did. So first temp next we will make p next. So see, we are taking only constant time. So in to insert in a unsorted linked list, it is going to take big of n. Now to search, now if you want to search, you have to search all the element. Okay, so linearly you have to do, because it's unsorted linked list. You are going to take big of n. Now find mean is also going to your big of mean, big of log n. Sorry, n, big of n, because minimum you, again you have to search all the element. Now if you want to do unsorted in unsorted linked list, now if you want to do that, after that it is delete mean. So finding mean is going to take big of 1. Now after that you have to just do this. Finding mean is going to take big of n. After finding mean, you can delete that element in a constant time. You can delete that element in a constant time. Let us assume it is having, let us assume it is having p, q, r. Okay, now you want to delete q. If you want to delete q, how you can delete? Say it will like this. Simply you can use some temp is equal to q. Now p next is going to your r. P next is going to your r. Okay, p next is going to your r, and okay, p next is going to r. Now p is going to point. P is now is going to pen. Uh, is now going to point r, and you can free. So this is one way you can do. You can delete. Okay, if it is PQR, other way is also there. Okay. You have directly point here. See other way, if they have not given the pointer r, if they have not given the pointer r. Okay, let us assume they have not given you the pointer r. So let us assume if they have given like this. If they have given like this, it is p, it is q, it is q, and they have not given this. Okay, so how you can delete this q? How you can delete this q? The pointer q, the node q. So what you can do? You make p next is equal to first q next. So q next is your this, q next is your this. So now p next is pointing to here. Is pointing to here. Okay. Now it's no more pointing to here. Now you can delete q. Now you can delete q. So both way you can delete. So you can free. Free q is going to deallocate the memory that is got for q. Okay, like this. So this will get deleted. So finding mean is going to take big of n, but deletion is going to take constant, because after that only you can, since it is a pointer, you can go to that pointer and you can move like next you can do. So it is going to take big of n. Okay. Now heap, or here I am assuming mean heap. Now in mean heap is a data structure where minimum will, it's like tree. Mean heap is a complete binary tree where the node will have the minimum value. Okay, where node is always going to have the minimum value. So it's a tree only, and where node is always having the minimum value, like 1, 2, 3. The node is having the minimum value. It's a mean heap. Okay. Now in mean heap, to insert an element, we will show you it's going to take log n. To insert, it is going to take log n. For searching, it is going to take big of n. And to find mean, it is going to take big of 1. Okay, because root is going to be the minimum. And to delete mean, it is going to take log n. To delete mean, it is going to take log n. Okay. So this mean heap or heap we are using whenever we want to perform the property, like whenever we want to perform the operation like insert, find mean and delete mean. Not for searching it is used. So see, you can see here. So for insertion, it is going to take some big of 1, then delete mean is going to take big of n, find mean is going to take big of n, here also big of n, big of n. So that's why your heap is used when you want to perform. See, it is small, it is small. So whenever you want to do your insertion, finding mean and deleting mean, then we go for the data structure meaning. See, I have told you that sometimes we will choose which data structure is suitable for which algorithm. So if your some algorithm is continuously doing doing insertion and finding the minimum and deleting the minimum, then you should choose the heap mean heap. Okay, so there we are going to use mean heap. Okay, so you have to choose according to the algorithm. If your algorithm is doing more operation, more insert operation, more find operation, more delete operation, then you should go for mean heap. Okay. So heap take less time. Heap take heap takes less time for insertion. Heap take less time for insertion, finding finding minimum, and delete delete minimum. Okay. So that's why this data structure this data structure that's why this data structure is used where we need insertion. So we are going to use this data structure only where we use insertion, finding minimum for minim, finding minimum, deleting minimum and deleting minimum. Okay. So we have I have taken unsorted array, sorted array, and unsorted linked list and mean heap. So we have seen that the mean heap is giving the best performance in case of insertion when someone is doing insertion, find mean, and delete mean. Okay, because if you see in unsorted array, delete mean is going to take big of n. For a sorted array, it's going to take big of n. Then for unsorted also, it is going to big of n. So delete mean is always taking big of n, but in case of mean heap, it was taking log n. Okay, it was like taking log n. So overall if you see, the best performance will be given by mean heap. Okay, now we will see what is heap. Okay, so why we are learning heap? Because heap give a very good performance whenever any algorithm is doing more insert operation, more find mean operation, more delete mean operation. Okay, just a minute. So that's why we study heap. Now what is heap? Now, a heap a heap is a tree with 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 some special property. Heap is a tree with some special properties. Heap is a tree with some special properties. The basic requirement, the basic requirement of a heap is is that that the value of a node must be must be either greater than equal or smaller than equal to the value of its children, to the value of its children. Okay. So heap is a tree with some special properties. Okay. So it is a tree only which is going to have some special property. The basic requirement of heap is that the value of a node must be either greater than equal to or smaller than equal to the value of its children. So either it is going to be greater than equal to or smaller than equal to either it will be greater only or smaller from all its children. So even descendant, okay, even descendant also. So from every element, so root should if it is a max if, then root should be the maximum element in whole tree. Okay, this is called this is called this is called heap property. This is called heap property. A heap, this is called a heap property. A heap also has the additional property. Heap also has the additional additional properties. A heap also have the additional property that all leaves that all leaves should that all leaves should be at height h or h minus 1, where where h is the height of tree. So you know that it is saying that it is also having one property, that all the leaves should be at height h or h minus 1. So this property is for which tree? It's a complete binary tree. Means a heap is a complete binary tree. Okay, where h is a for some, because this property satisfies in complete binary tree. Okay, for some h greater than 0. So that means heap heap should be that means heap should be that means heap should be that means heap should form heap should form a complete binary tree. Then heap should form a complete binary heap should form a complete binary. Okay, so you can pause the video and you can write it. So this we have given. What is a heap? A heap is a tree with some special property. It is going to have some special property. So the basic requirement of heap is that the value of a node must be greater than equal to or smaller than equal to, either greater than equal or smaller than equal to the, see, either I am saying, not both condition, to the value of its children, and this is called heap property. Another additional properties it's required that all leaves should be at height h or h minus 1, and this property will be satisfied when it is a complete binary tree. So it means a heap is a complete binary tree. Okay, it means a heap is a complete binary tree. So example, what is a heap? So it is a heap if your tree is like the heap, because it's a complete binary tree. This is a heap, this is a heap. This way you can construct left right. You know that it should be a, in complete binary tree it should also follow the sequence. So left, it should have left child, it like this is not a complete binary tree. I have taught you these things, because its sequence should come from top to down, left to right. So first left child, then right child. Okay, not oppositely. Complete binary tree, not complete binary tree. Okay, like this. This is also a not complete binary tree. This is also not a complete binary tree. Okay, why? Because it is having left right, but it is not having left child. It is have right child. So it should like this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this, like it will go. Okay, top to down, left to right, like, okay, in a sequence way. It's a complete binary. Now we are going to see max heap. Okay. Now what is max heap? Max heap always have the maximum element in the root. Okay. A right, a max heap is a complete binary tree. Is a complete is a complete binary tree. Is a complete binary tree where where the root where the root is maximum. Where the root is maximum. Root is going to be maximum. Example 100 means always the parent is going to be maximum. 100 it's maximum. Let me give this 20, 1, 4, then 3. See, it is maximum to all its children. Yeah. 10 is maximum to all, yes, 20. So it's a max. It should be. And leaf is always going to be heap. Leaf is always going to be heap because it is not having any child. It is maximum only. Okay. It's a max. You can give a note and write leaf. Okay. That I will write later. Now write mean heap. Mean heap. Mean heap. Mean heap is a complete mean heap is a complete binary tree. Mean heap is a complete binary tree. Mean heap is a complete binary tree where the root must be where the root must be small. So here root is going to be small, then it is going to your mean heap. Okay, so like example 1, 10, 20, here 100, here 200. See, this is meaning this is it is smaller than their children. It is smaller because no child is there. Now 10, 20 is there. It is smaller than. Okay. So you see from the leaf node. Okay. From here you start, then you will get it. So it means root root element root element root element should be smaller than all the elements. Root elements should be smaller than all the elements present present in the left subtree, as well as right subtree, right. Okay. So it means root element should be smaller than all the elements present in left subtree as well as right subtree. So root element should be smaller than all the elements present in left subtree as well as a right subtree. Okay. So you can write it. So you can give a note and you can write a leaf node is always a heap. Leaf node is always a heap. It will always satisfy the heap properties, either a max heap or mean heap. It will satisfy because it is not having any child. Okay. So a leaf node is always, you can say a leaf node is always satisfying heap property. Leaf node is always you can say that a leaf node is always a leaf node is always a heap. You can say that a leaf node is always a heap. Now how to store heap? Okay. Now how to store? Now to store heap, we are using array. We are using array. Okay. So we can you can say that, sir, to store heap you are using array, and in array it is a static, it is going to have a static memory allocation. You can go to linked list. So what happen if you go for linked list, then from linked list you have to construct, you can construct, see, from linked list you have to go to tree, then from tree you have to make as a max heap or min heap. Okay, that is going to take lot of space. See, if you will go for linked list instead of array, then from linked list you have to then convert it into tree, then you have to convert it into heap. So that is going to take lot of space. But if we use a store the that heap in a array, then it is going to be useful, then it is going to be useful. Okay, now why it is going to be useful, I will explain you. Because a heap is always a complete binary tree, is always a complete binary tree. Like if element is here, if element, some element is here, then here it will have, then here it will have, then here it will have. So here you are going to, you store this like by index 1, index 1, index 2, then index 3, then index 4, then index 5, then index 6, then index 7, like this. So index by you make its index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, like this. You store the element like 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. You can insert 9, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, like this. You can insert in the array. So if you can insert, since it is a array, you can use to store heap as array, because in array, because heap is a complete binary tree. Since it is a complete binary tree, there will be no store, no wastage of storage, because it is going to follow the sequence that first left child will have, then left right child, then again in the second, in the next, then again left child, then right child. So if a root is there, then it will have the left child, then the right child, then again it will have the all the child, then this will have all the child, like this. Then again this should have the child, then this should have the child, left child, then right child. So in this way it is not going to waste any storage, because you can use as a index this to store as index 1, this to store as index 2, this to index 3, this as 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10, then 11, like this. So any complete binary tree can be stored is, so any, and we are having also the advantage, just like if this is the index, then what is going to the left subtree, what is the index of left child, or what is the index of right child. It is easy, because if index is 1, see, 2 into L is going to give you the index of left child, and 2 into a L, L plus 1 is going to your 2 into I, this is the I, this is the index, 2 into I, 2. 2 into I plus 1, 3. See, right chain. See here, it's left child index 2 into 2, 4, and plus 1 is 5. So if we'll use the array to store the complete binary tree, then even to fetch his left child, to know the left child index, to know the right child index, it is easy. And even to know the parent, like 6 is there, you can do floor index by 2. If you do the index by 2, you are going to get the index of a parent, like 6 by 2. You are going to get 3. This is the floor, you are going to get 3. Like 7 by 2, it's going to your 3.5, it's is the floor, 3.5, and 3.5 floor is going to your 3. So by this, if you are storing the complete binary tree in an array, then also to fetch its parents or go to the left child index or right child index, it is easy. Okay, instead of a linked list. So it is going to be advantage. So any complete binary tree, any complete binary tree, any complete binary tree can be stored, can be stored in array, can be stored in array. Just a minute. Any complete binary tree can be stored in an array. Okay, in an array. So max heap, to construct max heap, we take we take array to put data instead of linked list, to build instead to build linked list then of tree, and from then from tree to heap, because this will take lot of space. So this will take lot of storage, you can say. Okay, so you can pause it and you can write. Now now if you are storing the array in the complete binary in an array, then how to get the index of a left child, index of a right child? Okay, now we will write that. So we are first assuming that if the array starting index is 1, if the array starting index is 1, so if we are starting the array with index 1, then and left child index of i is going to be 2 into I. Right child index of I is going to be 2 into I plus 1. And parent of a child of which you are asking is going to be the floor of index by 2. By this, if you do, then you are going to get the parent. Okay. Now, if the index has started with 1, then this is the formula. Now, if the array of the first element, if the array start with index 0, if the array start with index 0, then left child index of parent, first see index of parent is going to your, this you have to remember. Okay, a seal of index by 2 minus 1. Generally we are going to see start with 1. Okay, left child index is going to your left child index left child of ith element is 2 into I plus 1. Here 2 into I plus 1. Right child of ith element is 2 into I plus 1, means 2 into I plus 2, 2 into I plus 2. Okay, now take an example, say, like this. So here index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this element is having index 4, 5, 6, 7. So its left child is your 2 into I plus 1, 2 into 0, 0, 0 plus 1, 1. And 2 into I plus 2 is the right child. See, 2 into 0 is 0 plus 2. This 2 into I is your 2 plus 1, 3, and plus 2 is your 4. Okay, now parent 5, parent is your 5 by 2 floor of sorry seal minus 1. 5 by 2, it's 2.5 floor, it's going 3 minus 1, 2. You are getting correct only. 6 by 2 is going to again 3, so like 7 by 2 floor of that, sorry, seal of that minus 1, it's going to your 4, 4 minus 1, 3. You are getting correct. Okay, so this way you have to use. And even when we are see here, we are doing only to find the left child and right child, we are doing only division by 2 or multiplication. So to find left child, we are doing multiply by 2, and to find the parent, we are doing the division. So multiplication and division is like left shift and right shift. Okay, so that's why. So left shift and right shift is bitwise operator. By this bitwise operator we can do, and even it will help in our implementation. So it will save our time. So multiplication with 2 is just a one left shift. Okay, so it's just a one left shift, and dividing by 2 it means right shift, one right shift. So by this we are even saving the means time. So it will help in implementation. So multiplying with 2 is left shift is one left shift, one left shift. Dividing with 2 is one right shift, is one right shift. So it can be easy to implement using array. So it can be easy. So we can do only left shift and right shift. So it can be easy. It can be easy to implement implement using array. It is going to be easy to implement. So finding left child. So finding left child, right child, finding left child, right child, and so finding left child, right child, and parent will take less time. So finding left child, right child, finding left child, right child, and parent will take will take less time. Will take less time. Okay. So this you can write. So we have seen that we are storing the heap in a array. Why we are storing a heap into a array? Because it is going to save in the memory, because a heap is a complete binary tree. So it is going to have the a complete binary tree will first have the left child, then the right child. So in this sequence we are not going to waste any memory, and we are not using linked list. Why we are not using linked list? Because from linked list we need to construct tree, then from tree we need to construct heap. Okay, that's why we are using array. So that is, if you will use linked list, it is going to take lot of memory, lot of space. Okay, so we are going for array. Now in array, to find left child, right child, and parent is going to be easy, because if you are starting with index 1, left child is going to 2 into index, right child is going to 2 into index plus 1, and the parent is going to index by 2, floor of index by 2, see, floor of index by 2. If the array is starting with index 0, then index of the parent is going to seal by index by 2 minus 1, left child index is going to 2 into I plus 1, right child index is going to 2 into I plus 1. Okay, like this. So this way we are going to, and you know that multiplying with 2 is one shift, dividing with 2 is your right shift. So you are only to find the left child, right child, and parent, we are doing multiply and divide by 2. So we can do left shift and right shift. Whenever we want to multiply, we can do left shift. So in implementation it is going to be easy. Okay, so now I will give some array, and you have to tell me whether it is a max heap or not. Okay, so an a length is going to be the number of element in the array, and a dot heap size. What is a dot heap size? Okay, what is a dot heap size? It is the number of element, number of nodes, number of nodes, number of nodes following, number of nodes follow heap property, number of nodes follow heap property, that is called as heap size. Okay, number of nodes follow heap property is called as heap size. Okay, so now the first node I am giving you. So first node is your, the array is having, the array is having they have given the array, and they are asking you whether it is max heap or not. Okay, whether it is max heap or not. So given an array, check whether it is a max heap or not. Let me write, given a array, given an array, check whether, check whether it is a max heap or not. Check whether it is a max heap or not. Okay, so given an array, you have to check whether it is a max heap or not. So first array is having element 23, 12, 16, 13, 10, 8, 40. Index is having 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, 7. Index is starting from 1. Okay. So it will have first 23, then 12, then 16, then 7, then 13, then 10, then 8, then 40. So it is maximum. Yeah, it is maximum. Then 12 is maximum. No, 12 is not maximum. 12 is not maximum. So see, we will start seeing from left to right, top to down. Like this, we will go. Okay, left to right, top to down. So there only we find that 12 is not greater than 30. So it is not maxi. It is not maxi. And so A dot length is going to here. What is the length here? Array length is 7. And A dot heap size is going to your A dot heap size is going to your 1 only, because this element is only following the heap property. See, in this sequence, if you will see that 16 is satisfying the property, but you will not consider 16, not 16, because you have the rule that it should go from left to right, top to down. So first 23, then you will check 12, then you will go to 16. If this will satisfy, then you can count this. Okay, so 16 you are not going to count because its left child is not following the heap property. Always traverse the tree that from top to down, left to right, top to down, left to right. Because you know that heap is going to have first left child, then right child. So even you see that left child is not following the heap property, you will stop there. You will stop there and you will say that is not a max heap. Then how many elements before that you have scanned? That is going to be the number of element which is following the heap property. Okay, so heap size is going to 1. You are not going to consider this. Okay. Now next in array it is having 25, 12, 16, 13, 10, 8, 40. So 25 will be here, then 12, then 16, then 13, then 10, then 8, then 40. Now see, 25 is maximum. Yeah, 12 is again. Oh, again I have written the same, I think. Oh yeah, I have written the same. Let me change it. 25, 14, 16. I will make here 14, 14, 16, 13, 10, 8, here 12. Okay, I'm changing. So 14, it's 12. So here it will come 14. Here it will come to. Now see, 25 is falling, yes. Then 14 maximum, yes. 10 maximum, yes. Okay, so it is following the heap property. So A dot length is going to your how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And A dot heap size is going to your A dot heap size is going to your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all the element. Okay. Now third one is having 25, 14, 13, 16, 10, 8, 12. Okay. So 25 here, then 14 here, then 13, then 16, then 10, then 8, then 12. So 25, is it greater from all its children? Yes. Then 14? No. Okay. So A dot length is going to your 1. Sorry, A dot length is going to 7 only. 3, 6, 7. A dot heap size is going to your A dot heap size is going to your 1. Okay. Now fourth example. So we are going to take mini 25, 14, 12, 13, 10, 8, 16. So 25 will be here, then 14, then 12, then 13, then 10, then 8, then 16. Okay, so 25, 14, 12, 13, 10, 8, 16. So it is maximum. Yeah, it is maximum. Now 14 is maximum. Yes, maximum. Now 12 is maximum. No, 12 is not maximum. So A dot heap size heap size is going to your only 2, and A dot length is going to your 7. 4, 2, 6, 7. Okay, so fourth one done. 25, 14, 12, 13, 10, 8, 6. Now next is your fifth one is having element 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. So A dot length, array length is your 5. So heap size, we will check 14 whether it is a heap or not. 14, 13, then 12, then 10, then 8. So this is max heap. Yes, this is max heap. Yes, this is max heap. Yes, this is. So A dot heap size is going to your heap size. How many element following the heap property? 5. Okay, so heap size and heap length is same. Now 6. 6 is having element 14, 12, 13, 8, 10. Now 14 will be here, then 12, then 13, then 8, then 10. So A dot length is going to your 5, and A dot heap size is going to your 14 is greater, yes. 12 is greater, yes. 13 greater, yes. So 5. So 13 is greater from its children because no children is there. Okay. Now 7, 14, 13, 8, 12, 10. So first 14, then 13, then 8, then 12, then 10. So A dot length is going to your 5. Now A dot heap size. How many element in this array is following the heap property? 14 is following. It is 14 is maximum from all its children. Left children, left subtree and right subtree element. 13 is greater. 8 is greater. 12, 10. So 5. Now next one. So it was 14, 13, 8, 12, 10. Now I will make 14, 13, 14, 13, 12, 8, 10. See, I can have a, this is a maxim, this is also a maxim. Here 14, 12, 13. Here I'm just say you can have for a given number of element like for 14, 13, 8, 12, 10, 14, 8, 12, 13, 8, 10. You are having a more than one maxim. Okay, so if you are writing the element like for first 14 and 12, 13, 8, and then also it's a maxim. So out of some set of element, it can have more than one maxim. This is having one maxim when you are writing 14, 12, 13, 8, 10. Even when you are writing 14, 13, 8, 12, and then also you are getting a maxim. It means for a given set of a number there may be more than one heap. Okay, so you write as a note, you write as a note for a given set of, so for a given set of, a given set of number, for a given set of number there can be, for a given set of number can be there can be more than one, there can be more than one heap, there can be more than one heap. Okay, there can be more than one heap. Now next is your 13. Now you take the number. So numbering is going to your 8. It is having 14, 13, 12, 8, 10. So first is going to your 14, then 13, 12, then 8, then 10. It is again following the heap property. So A dot length is going to your 5, and A dot heap size is going to your 5. All the element is satisfying the max property. Now last one, that is 9, having the element 89, 19, 40, 17, 12, 10, 2, 5, 7, 11, 6, 9, 7. First 89, then 19, then 40, then 17, then 12, then 10, then 2, then 5, then 7, then 11, then 6, then 9, then 70. So 89, 19, 40, 17, 12, 10, 2, 5, 7, 11, 6, 11, 6, 9, 70. So A dot length is going to your 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's going to 13 element. Now A dot heap size. A dot heap size. So 89 is maximum, correct? Now 19, is it maximum? Yes, to maximum. Now 40. No, 40 is not maximum. Here 70 is there. A dot heap size is 2. A dot heap size is 2. Okay. Now see here, one thing here. If I will write the number in increasing order like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you construct, if I give you the some number, the max heap. So 1 first, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, like this. You are going to get always a mean heap. See, always you are getting a mean heap. So whenever I will give the array in increasing order, you are going to get a mean heap. Okay. And when I will give you in a decreasing order, you are always going to get a max heap. So if the array is in ascending order, if the array, if the array, so it means you can say that the sorted array is always a heap. If the array is in ascending order, if the array is in ascending order, then then it is then it is always a then it is always a mean heap. Then it is always a mean heap. Okay, then it is always a mean heap. Now if the array like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, first 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Now it is in decreasing order. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is in decreasing order. If it is in decreasing order, it is going to be always a max heap. So if the array is in decreasing order, the array is in decreasing order, then it is always a it is always a max heap. It is always a max heap. So it means the sorted array. It means it means the sorted array, either increasing or decreasing. The sorted array is always a heap. So it means the other sorted array is always a heap. I'm not saying it is a max for many. If they will say that it is a sorted array, then it is always a heap. It means the sorted array is always a heap. Okay. So this is the introduction. Now we will see the next part in our next lecture. Okay. So you can use my code, that is SPSYT, to get 10% instant discount on any of the subscription that is available on Unacademy. Use the code SPSYT to get 10% instant discount on any of the subscription that is available on Unacademy. Okay, 10% instant discount. You can subscribe this channel and you can join the Telegram group and like the video. And even in the description, my profile is there for the Unacademy. You can follow me there. Okay. So bye everyone.